Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is a pleasure having you again for another edition of Viewpoint on DBS Television. Today, we'll be touching some aspects concerning education in Cameroon, and that will be with a guest that we are receiving for the first time with us here in the studio, Tamfo Jones. He is a journalist and the Secretary General of Modegna. Of course, as naturally, he'll be accompanied by Mange Venashus. Good evening to you, Jones, and thank you very much for being part of us.
Good evening, Mr. Young. It's a pleasure to be part of you guys today, and I'm happy you made it possible for me to be here today, and I'm hoping that in the subsequent editions of your program I will also be here.
Probably we'll have you as often as you are available. Mange Venashus, good evening and welcome.
Good evening, Vanessa. Good evening to our viewers. You know, we always say that it's a pleasure to commune with them and share issues affecting Cameroon, the country, us generally.
Let us take the first part of the show, that is the question and answer. You are welcome back. Our first question in tonight's edition: increase of school fees in Cameroon, a justifiable move at this time? Jones, I begin with you. Yes or no? Is it justifiable?
No.
No. Mange Venashus?
Yes, Vanessa.
Yes, it is. And the last question: does it have any bearing on back to school campaign this year?
Yes.
Yeah. Mange Venashus?
Obviously, it does.
It does have. That was it. Stay tuned for the debate to get their point of view. Increase of school fees in Cameroon, a justifiable move at this time, the time where the country is being plagued by the coronavirus pandemic, where the country is being plagued by other crises, where the country is facing or having internally challenges as the internally displaced person. And some private institutions, schools, have gone to increase their tuition fee or the school fee of students. And Tamfo Jones, finding out from you, you think that it's not justifiable at this point in time?
Yes, it's not justifiable because I don't think in trying to solve problems in our country, some enemies of the nation should not galvanize or push people into frustration. Given that we have the Anglophone problems that has been raging in the Northwest and the Southwest for the past 3 years now, and that we are still struggling to solve, and the economy of Cameroon has been down. The coronavirus also came and added to it, and the economy now is completely, I can say, below zero. Now, if times are this difficult, we have seen in other countries where coronavirus has also had a great impact, and the government is supporting the nationals. But unfortunately in Cameroon, we have little or no support from the government in place. Now, if businesses also are not moving the way they used to, the economy is down, as I said earlier, and what some private sectors and entrepreneurs think they can give as their own contribution to Cameroon, it is to increase the school fees of their institutions. I think that the government has to stand up, hit the table, and then take some strict decisions, because I trust Madame Nalova Lyonga, who has been working so hard to see into it that the educational system of Cameroon and the Cameroonians enjoy it better. And I'm calling on her to do something about it, because there has been a laissez-faire in that educational system, in the educational sector, because when you look critically, I have been criticizing the fact that people increase and decrease school fees at their will without consulting the government. There are schools here in Douala, they don't have toilets, they don't have water facilities, even the buildings are not up to standard, but they are operating. People are trying to cope with these situations, yet they come again to increase school fees. Is the increment of school fees to add to the salaries of the frustrating teachers who are crying every day, or it is to increase their profit that goes to their pockets. You look critically, you see that if we just, because the last academic year, we believe so many of them did not make much money. So they are trying to balance the fall in their income of last year. That's the only justification they may give.
Probably because we have received teachers here who complain that they have not been paid for this month. Since March, they have not received their salaries. But parents have testified that before the end of March, they already paid their children's school fees.
Yes, the majority of the parents pay their children's school fees. But these teachers, majority have also met, whom have met, said from March till date have not had any salary. Now, what about the subvention the government gave to those people? Where did they keep the money? Nobody knows. And when the teachers are even complaining about the salaries that have not been paid, how much are the teachers even paid? I have seen in schools in Douala, they pay the teachers 35,000 francs. If in Douala you are paid a salary of 35,000 francs and you are to rent a room for 15,000, transportation 15,000, 5,000 is left. Is it for electricity or water bill? They maltreat these teachers. I think that this is an opportunity that the minister should use to see how he will put these people
bring them back to order. Because increasing school fees at this time,
they are going out of hand. And we are talking about the increment of school fees. They don't only increase school fees. There are so many malpractices that have been going on in these schools. During they call the parents to buy chalk. The parents buy the chalks of the school. They buy books. At times you buy the books and you don't see them.
They buy uniforms from the school.
Uniforms from the school, sportswear from the school at very alarming prices. They buy toilet rolls. And in certain schools there are no toilets, there's no tap flowing, and the children are schooling under very funny circumstances. But these guys keep on asking money. It does not end there. We see that there's this thing that Madame Nalova Lyongas stopped some weeks ago because of the COVID-19. The issue of evening classes. These guys are making huge money. When you permit teachers to carry out evening classes, it becomes some source of income for them. Now they will not teach well in classes during the normal teaching hours. They will not give good lessons to the children, hoping that the ones that will afford to pay the evening classes will have the best of their teachers. This is discrimination, of which you pay school fees for your child to study during the day. In the evening that the child was supposed to be resting. So that, because if the brain does not rest, it will not give out good results. The child is there again at school because of evening classes. If we should pay evening classes, then we should leave the school fees and recruit teachers to come and teach the children at home. I think that the government needs to do something. Because not only the evening classes, when they finish the evening classes, you come back from work in the evening again, you do the teachers' work in the house through assignments, of which the teachers have been paid. I am not refusing assignment are necessary. But at times you do the assignment, you have like an impression that the child is seeing the thing for the first time, which is so unfortunate. So teachers, everybody, and the entrepreneurs, those who own schools, the proprietors and the proprietresses, everybody should do what he or she is supposed to do at the right time so that this country moves ahead. Because when we talk about this country, they say in democracy, we are part of the government. If you are part of the government and you are a farmer and you don't farm well, the country won't go ahead. If you are a journalist, you don't do your reports well, the country will not go ahead. So everybody, no matter, and if you are a soldier and you go and you are committing atrocities, the country will not go ahead. Anywhere you find yourself in this country, work well so that the country will achieve its goal in 2035.
Probably the country will emerge. All this from John's point, just to tell us that these private entrepreneurs who think that back to school is an opportunity for them to fill in their pockets with huge sums of money by increasing school fees. It is not necessary at this particular moment. But from you, Mange Fenashus, you would think that increasing school fees is justifiable with all this crisis ongoing?
Yes, Vanessa.
And we know what the coronavirus pandemic has come and caused.
When I say it is justifiable, it is obvious that in Cameroon, when you look at the educational landscape in Cameroon, you see that the bulk of those who carry out this enterprise falls in either the lay private or the confessional sector. Normally in any country, it is the responsibility of the government to provide education for her citizens. It is normal. But then the private sector, like they used to contribute in every other sector, they come in here to assist the government to make sure that Cameroonian citizens are well formed and trained. But then when you look at the situation that we have, we are talking about increasing salaries, whether justifiably
increasing school fees,
increasing school fees, whether it is justifiable or not. I will want to begin from the second point Mr. Jones made concerning the salaries of teachers. We know the just ended academic year ended the way it did, and teachers have been complaining, like he rightly said, that they have not been paid. It is normal that we expect that these proprietors should pay the salaries of these teachers. They never agreed with the teachers that they will work till March. The agreement was till the end of the year, which school year normally ends in June. So because it's a 9-month program for those who are paid for 9 months, and 12 months for those who are paid yearly. So if it ended in March and the proprietors did not pay, for whatever reasons, I'm not justifying the fact that they did not pay, but I'm looking at it from an objective point of view that they did not pay. So it holds that once they come back in October, they should pay the salaries of these teachers if they intend to work on with the teachers. Because I think any other teacher...
are you indirectly saying that they should pay these teachers to the detriment of the parents who are paying school fees?
Vanessa, it will be abnormal for us to say that...
Forgetting that those teachers themselves are parents.
Of course, they are. And that is why they are asking that their salaries should be paid so that they can take care of their families as well. For these proprietors to break even, they need the money. Because if they pretend that they will not increase school fees and then go back to these arrears that they owe the teachers, we are not being sincere to ourselves. Let us give them that benefit of chance to pay the teachers, because if after increasing the school fees they don't pay the teachers, we have all the rights, all the justifications now to condemn the act of increasing school fees. Now another point is the 2020-2021 academic year would open within the context of coronavirus, which we know the challenges the pandemic is imposing in every sector of life. The educational sector is not an exception. Now, if you look at what the coronavirus, this pandemic demands, we need to carry out this normal social distancing to make sure that we limit the spread of the pandemic. If we are to carry social distancing in schools, one, the class sizes have to be trimmed down. Now, we are talking about the way schools should function. We are talking about the 2-shift system in schools, which will likely be put in place to make sure that we reduce the number of children who come to class per session. Now, if we are to operate with the social distancing, it means the infrastructure in each school would have to undergo some, renovation. Simply put, classes will need to be added. Because you cannot tell me that a class we know that in our classes, in some schools, we had more than 70 children in one class.
Manga Venatius, talking and looking at the realities on the ground. For instance, the city of Douala. Do you see the possibility of these private owners expanding their classrooms?
It is a point now on the government to carry out a check to make sure that is social distancing being practiced. We don't want to know whether you increase the size of your classrooms or you would add additional infrastructure. All we need is we simply imposing social distancing, which compel the proprietor, if the proprietor wants to stay off or stay clear from government's blame, it compels the proprietor to do something concerning infrastructure, which means there will be additional classrooms, there will be additional benches, and once there are additional benches, all this they need money. I know it is heavy, like Mr. Ngala was saying, Mr. Tamfo, sorry, like Mr. Tamfo was saying, it needs, it's heavy on the part of the parent. But when you put the cost and the threat it has to the lives of their children or to the lives of our children, because it involves all of us, you will see that we would rather prefer that they should increase the school fees and save the lives of our children. Because we should not venture with the lives of our children because we are afraid to spend. It's just like a child who is sick and you are afraid to go to the hospital because you go and spend. So they should increase the school fees and practice the normal distancing, social distancing, by providing benches, providing classes, so that we are convinced that they can limit the spread of the virus in our schools. Now, if we are talking about the 2-shift system, it means the staff strength would be increased as well, because the same teacher will not teach the morning shift and teach the afternoon shift. It is obvious that these schools will be recruiting, and if they are recruiting, it is an added expenditure on their part, because if we pretend, like I was saying,
you're just forecasting that they'll be recruiting.
Because
we are hoping to investigate when school reopens.
It is not the question of forecasting, because if we are operating in a 2-shift, if we are operating in a 2-shift system, it is very obvious that no teacher will teach from morning till the midday and midday till evening.
They've been teaching like that. When they teach from school, they go to evening classes. It's no continuation. So
evening classes,
4 p.m., 6 p.m.
Evening classes, the strength or the weight of the classrooms are no longer the same, because if you are teaching a class of 50, 60 students, you have to mark all the 60 books. But then in evening classes, maybe you have 30 students. That is different. In the evening classes, you are just practically teaching maybe 2 subjects. It's different. But within a normal session, you have to follow the timetable the way it is. And if we intend to have the best output from these teachers, we should not pretend to say that they will teach from morning, midday, evening. Because in a normal setting, they don't teach like that. So if we want that they should teach well, then they need to add some other teachers who will teach in the morning and some other teachers who will teach in the afternoon shift. And in this way, the schools are spending. Remember, I said the private sector is playing a greater role in this sector. If it is within the government rank, that is no problem to teachers. Government budget will handle it, because the government will employ the normal teachers. Government will have the means. But will the private proprietors have the means? So let us not look at money and forget the consequences of economizing. Now, if we talk of adding the
Manga Financials,
yes, please.
Maybe I was thinking that you would take us to the point that they did not spend all the budget for last academic year.
Okay.
So what have they done with it?
Okay, Vanessa,
would they not use it to cater for all these challenges you are highlighting?
You are right.
And let the parents send their children to school normally? You
are right, Vanessa. When you are running a school, you don't pay benches in terms of a daily basis. The expenditure of there are few expenditure or few items that you can say that are spent on a daily basis. Any normal functioning institution, they buy in bulk. You not tell me that they go and buy chalk, 1 packet per day or per month. They buy in bulk. Whether the school year ended normally or it did not end normally, those things were bought.
When the parents buy the chalk. So chalk is out of question.
Yeah, I understand, but mostly
there were some remaining stocks.
You see
left?
that in most schools, only those in the nursery sector bring chalk. In primary schools, we don't bring chalk. In secondary school, we don't bring chalk when you register your children. It is only in the nursery sector that they ask for chalk. So we cannot expect that the kids in the nursery sector will be able to provide chalk that will be used in the whole sector. What about secondary schools where they don't have the nursery sector? What about schools that do not even use chalk? You see that most of these things, and in such schools, when you buy bulk markers, after some time, they go out of use. So I think that the expenditure, we are not like saying that it is good. It is a bitter pill that we have to swallow. Because if we intend the 2020 academic year, 2021 academic year to unfold normally, we need to incur. Because coronavirus is like imposing some uncomfortable conditions that we have to support.
Okay.
And in this case, we are talking about the school fees.
Thank you very much, Manga Venatius, for your viewpoint, and thank you all gentlemen for your contributions. It is really a bitter pill to swallow for parents in general, and as a result of that, we are asking whether this will have any impact in any bearing on back to school campaigns this year, and Tamfu, you think that increasing school fees will actually have an impact on back to school? How is it going to do that? Is it positive or negative?
Yeah, we have a negative impact.
Okay.
Given that when you look in a neighborhood like that of New Bell, I want to be precise, where we are, you realize that many children don't go to schools. Many children, the children with the Tupuri, these guys from the north, majority of them don't go to school because of a lack of finance. Now, if you go to increase again, maybe somebody who was planning that maybe after working his get man work, he has economized some cash to send his or her daughter to school. At the end of the day, the school fees is to be increased. We said, better I take the money and drink my billy, because this money cannot go a long way to help my child. let the child stay in the house. After a while, they're going to study because there's this common saying in the quarters that they're studying, that after those who have studied, where are they? Every day they're complaining of joblessness and all that. After, let my child stay, and after I will give the child money to start a small trade. So that kind of scenario will be seen this year more than last year. Because since many parents will not be able to afford the school fees, that will be increased by the schools, the private schools. Some will either send their children to the government schools, which will also cause the government schools to be saturated.
And which is also very difficult to get enrolled.
Which will also be so difficult because we know the practice in Douala, whereby people are giving 100,000 for their children to enroll in schools. Those are the truths that we need to tell the viewers and the authorities in place, so that they see into how they will help the Cameroonian population, because they are suffering, crying and smiling. Suffering and smiling. So I think this cost we are going to incur, the school, if they are to act, they should make sure that they also incur part of the cost, because in most cases they would like to shift it all on the parents, which is not good. And I was about to say, if I were the one, if I were to suggest, I would suggest, in these schools we have PTA meetings. If the proprietor or the proprietress sees that he or she has to increase the size of the school, because when they talk about increments of the size of the school in Douala, I wonder how. Because I was complaining about toilets here. You see, go to some school, you see that there's no space that can be created for toilet. You see a small place like this, there's no window, there's nothing, they just put the children there and they're studying. Now, if you go to such a school and say that people should increase, they will not increase anything. But they will collect, they will increase the school fees, and they will not increase the salaries of teachers. Because you see critically that teachers at times, they are angry with the children, they even beat children because of frustration, hunger. They are unable to eat. You send food to your child, the teachers take the food and eat. You cannot blame the teacher because they are not eating well, they are not feeding well. And the hungry man is an angry man. So proprietors should not only think, because if this proprietor were of good faith, they would have increased the school fees earlier to increase also the salaries of the teachers. But they did not do that. Does that mean that the increment of their buildings are more important than the school fees of the teachers? No! Teachers are supposed to be well paid. Because when you look critically, you see that Cameroon is one of the countries in which teachers are they have the lowest wages on earth. On earth. So, if proprietors are of a good faith, they should see into it that they pay teachers well, so that they can also work well. Because no matter what, if you say that they will do a two-shift system, they will pay the teacher in the morning 30,000. Afternoon they say no, since things are not moving well, we'll pay 30,000. Because of unemployment, some of these teachers will have no choice than to go and do it, and very soon they will kill the parents with evening classes. So because from evening classes that they make money. So I think that teachers should be just, because if they had called for a PTA meeting, that okay, parents, look at the situation at hand. What should we do?
What should we do?
The parents who are well to do, the parents who are not well to do, the parents that can even give a building to the school, the parents that have houses that they can offer. So I don't think that if somebody sits in his room and take a decision and try to impose it on others, it will not be a very good idea, because some of us will not take it smiling. It's really a bitter pill to swallow.
Thank you very much, Tamfu, for your contribution. Mange Venantius, you equally think that it's going to have a bearing on a back-to-school campaign this year?
Actually, it will be negative as well as positive. Negative, like Mr. Tamfu is saying, because parents will have to bear, they will have to carry this extra load. But then, when we look at the positive aspect of it, is that in a way it will try to maintain the standard of education, because if we struggle to respect the social distancing policy, you know that experience shows that in small classroom size, the teacher has the mastery of the pupils or students in front of him or her, and that teacher has the ability to control the assimilation level of each student, because he understands, he's in direct touch with the learners, as compared to a classroom where a teacher barely moves. We have classes here in Douala where the teacher just struggles to enter somewhere and stands besides the board. He cannot even walk in class because of the enrollment. If we respect it, I think that the quality of teaching, learning, the quality of teaching learning process in our schools would be improved. Now, the government can also come in to subsidize these schools because, like we say, government has been giving subsidies. Well, I don't know how regular, because it should not be as if I'm playing the policy of defending. Yes, the government gives subsidies to teachers. How regular the subsidies are is another question. How much the subsidies are is another question. But then, given the context that we are, like Mr. Tamfu was saying, in some countries, you find that government is subsidizing sectors that are hard hit by the pandemic. Education sector is one of such in Cameroon especially, and I think that the government should also do something in that sector by subsidizing the lay private and the confessional schools to make sure that they can cope up with the challenges, because it will be very difficult this academic year that is coming up next month. We should not pretend that things will be as they used to be. Exactly. Everything is changed. Now, Mr. Tamfu was saying something about the PTA meetings. In government schools, it can function. Perhaps in lay confessional schools, it can function. But in private schools, PTAs are just names. They are just institutional structures that exist on papers to prove to send payers, to prove to taxation, and to prove to the ministry that they exist. They don't exist. Because nobody will... these schools are businesses. Private businesses. So no group of parents will come and sit and dictate how you run your business. Because if they come and tell you to add schools, they will not come and dictate how you run the profits that comes from the school. These PTAs, they just come and sit and they talk and eat and drink and go.
But now they're to incur the losses.
Of course. That's one thing. That's what the parents forget. That's what the parents forget, that PTAs means the parents have the duty to come out during PTAs and talk about the teaching, the conditions of the teachers. Because once they are poorly treated, it reflects on the kind of teaching they give to their children. So if they neglect it, the impact falls on them. So that's why I was saying that PTAs in government schools, yes, it is a legalized institution, because that's where they go and decide where to build a class, how to build it, how to recruit teachers. But in lay private schools, you don't tell me how much to pay a teacher, because it is my business. It is my capital. You are just a partner, a virtual, silent, consultative, partner in that business. So I think that when we talk about PTA, it will not have a side to play there. But then I think that parents should be ready to sacrifice. This will be part of their own sacrifice or their own sacrifice for this academic year to function, if it is to function, because we run the risk of hitting the rock again, because like he was saying, most children are not going to school.
Anyway, we don't pray for that. Parents
we are not praying for that, but that's the reality that stare at us directly to our faces. We need to know that difficulties are ahead of us, and if we prepare for those difficulties, we may be able to surmount them. If not, the difficulties may outweigh us, and the academic year may end in a shambala.
Thank you very much, Mange Financials, for your contribution. Tamfu Jones, it has been a pleasure having you with us.
It's my pleasure too, and one last message we have for the proprietors.
All right.
That they should treat their teachers very well. Because I am saying here on behalf of the teachers, I'm not a teacher, but I know what the teachers go through, because the teacher will not dare to go and stand in front of the proprietor to say increase my salary, they will fire you. So I am telling the government to see into how they will put these proprietors on the line so that they treat their teachers well, and also following the coronavirus and the social distancing, they should see into it, because if we say that children will maintain social distances in school, what about the taxes which they will take to go to school? There will be without us and all that. So there are so many things at stake. So the government should see what they will do.
Thank you very much, Tamfu, for that. Journalists are the voice of the voiceless, and that is why we are here to always educate both parties, be it the private sector owners, be it the parents. We are always there to come up with something or to give you something that will maximize your living, that will make living better for you and your family in Cameroon. Ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of today's edition. It has been a pleasure having you. Tomorrow is another day. See you, God willing. Do take care. Goodbye.